Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. So in this video, I want to show you how you can get incredible night fog photography, amazingly looking, with this 5 really cool trick. And if you stay until the end, I'll show you the whole retouching process. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. So last night, I went to bed and then I looked through the window and there was tons of fogs. And so I was like, oh, do I get up again? And I got up again and I took some of the most incredible photos that I think I took in the last 15 years. I went downtown Clearwater and there is this beautiful Capitol Theater that was still lit and it was just so much fog. It was really cool. And I wanted to give you 5 tips in case you want to take, which works for night photography in general, but even better with night photography with fog. So tip number 1, of course, I went there, I had a tripod, I was shooting raw. You want to get the best possible, file. I was shooting with a Fuji camera, which I really like. And just, you want to make sure you don't touch your camera when you take the photo. That's just the base, for night photography. This way you can shoot at 100 ISO, which is really, really cool. Tip number 2 is make sure you set the white balance on tungsten on your camera. Because if you can put it to auto white balance, because if you put it, for example, to cloudy or shade, it's going to look so warm that you won't be able to appreciate the photo. And so I find that fluorescent is okay, but tungsten gives even better result. And I find you appreciate better at night photos. I always shoot tungsten at night. Okay, so let me just walk you through some of the photos. I was looking for, I wanted to shoot a photo of the Capitol Theater. So I took 2 photos. I was maybe, hoping to do a panorama, but there was some cars. It was very annoying. So I was hoping the cars was going to go. And I, tried different framings. The next thing that's very important is I didn't really know how to expose. So at first my photo was very, very bright. And I find that I got better result when I slightly underexpose my photo like this, you see, because the eyes is going to go to the brightest part of the photo. So that's my tip number 3 is slightly underexpose your night photography. This way, the lights don't just take over completely. You still want to get some details in the shadows. And so yeah, that's what I do. I don't do HDR. I just underexpose a little bit. Check out the difference between this exposure and that exposure. And I use manual mode and I just eyeball it. I literally take a shot. I look at the histogram. I make sure my histogram is kind of in the middle. And yeah, basically that's what I do. And by the way, guys, one thing that helps me a lot, if you can like this video, that'd be so cool. If you can smash that like button, it helps the YouTube algorithm to make this video known. That would be very helpful. And if you can leave a comment and share, I would be your best friend forever. That would really help me, doing all these free videos for you. Okay, so let's carry on. So I was kind of underexposing. I was really happy with that framing. One thing I always try to go for when I do cityscape is layers, foreground, middle ground, background, and leading lines. And that's really my tip number 4. What I mean by layer is look at this tree here. I wanted this tree to be sort of like a foreground element, but I was too close. You will see I took another photo. This is kind of my middle ground, and this like city light would be my background. Something, and and the road would be sort of the leading line, So I think that was kind of one of the best shots that I got from this view. But there was still the cars. I was not really happy. So I walked around town and took some other different photos. I thought this one was interesting. This was kind of cool, but the light was a little too strong. So what I did is I turned around and then I cut the light so that you see the eyes goes to the bright spot of the photo. So I cut right under the light, so you only get the shine, but it's not like this one where just the only thing you kind of see is the light. Okay, very important. I moved around. I'm not going to show all the photos because I took quite a bit, but I was just looking for some cool moments of light. And I think my favorite's got to be this one here. This is, I think that's one is my favorite, and I'll show you. Also, I'm going to put a 3 stars. What I did is I put like a 3 star on my favorite photo, and then the cars actually left. And so I went back and got this photo. I gave a little more space to that tree, and now I had the perfect shot. But for some reason, because of the layers of light, I kind of like that one a little more. So tip number 5 is how do you retouch this beautiful shot? Well, the first thing that I do is I basically hold on the option key and I do a black point. You see, when you hold on the option key on Lightroom and you go to the left, what you see here in black and blue is 100% black points. and I kind of like that. I like to have about 1%, so that's kind of cool. Then the white, you see the white's already burned, so I can't really do much about the white. This light is fully burned, although I did underexpose a little bit. I usually open the shadows a little bit, and I don't bring down the highlights too much like I do with sunset, because if you bring down the highlights, you're going to get a definite sort of round around the lights, which I find a glow is much nicer. And then I'm going to add some contrast, and I make sure I'm using the tungsten white balance. And usually what I do is I add a bit of magenta to kill the green, and maybe a little bit of yellow until I have something I like. Or what you can do is you can take this white picker here and find something that's kind of supposed to be grayish, light grayish. Boom! Like this one. This one totally erased the green. I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. Add a bit more contrast, maybe lower slightly a bit the highlights. And this one, I think I want to make it 16:9 because I can. 16:9. I love 16:9. It's, for me, this is like a movie shot. So something like this. Look at this photo. This is some of my favorite photo in 15 years. I am so happy I got up and I did this little. Oh, by the way, guys, I have a new book that just came out called Photography Essentials. Yes, you can find it on Amazon as a printed version if you look for that title, Photography Essential by me. But you can also get it for free if you watch the masterclass that goes with it. I'm going to link a YouTube video where I go more in details like this. But basically, this is some of my best photography in the last 15 years. This is really, for me, the most important things you need to know. Like, I wish I had this book when I started 15 years ago. I would have economized years and years of trial and error and not buying the right gear. So check out the video. The link is under, must be also above somewhere where you can watch that video and get more data about this if you like what I do and you want to learn from me. Okay, next, I did a little pano of that same street. So I took one photo on the left side, one photo on the right side, like this. And then what I do is I select them both, and then I go to Photo Merge, Panorama. So just a little trick on panoramas. Usually I always go to perspective. You see, that's the last, because when I do cityscape, if you lose cylindrical, sometimes you get rounded things, and I don't like rounded things. I like them to be straight. So I usually use perspective, and on this one, you can also use fill edges. Fill edges is a new feature that came out in Lightroom. It's using the contour aware fill data, and it's going to create the pixel that's missing. So it's not going to be very accurate, but when you crop, it can be useful. So I'm going to use that. And perspective usually works if you're like at 30 millimeter and above, per my experience. Every time I'm like at 24 or 20 millimeter, perspective does not work. So sometimes a panorama can just be two photos, to get the composition you want to get. So I'm going to merge that. Now, one trick I want to give you is while this is happening, when you have something that you like I like the white balance, I kind of like the look, you can press Command-Shift-C and check all except the crop. I don't want to copy the crop from one photo to the next. Copy that, and then take, for example, this photo when the car's left, and press Command-V. And see what happened. Command, boom. And most of it is done. All you have to do is maybe just adjust the black spot, maybe adjust the exposure. But just a few settings, but you get a really cool photo. Okay, and let's see here. Where did the so that's the panorama that just came back. So I'm just press Command-V to just copy and paste what we did. Look at that. It's already almost retouch. Then I'm going to crop it. I'm going to put this little lock out so that I can crop it however I please. This is also one of my favorite. I think I want to crop that out. And when you do panorama, it enables you to take some really high resolution. So usually what I do is when I crop, and you can see how this capital sign is going this way and how this light is going sort of this way. So you want to rotate until both are tilted about the same, sort of like same angle here, then same angle there. Okay, and then what you can do is you can go all the way down to lens, to the transform. Usually when I click on auto, I'm not really happy. Yeah, it's actually not so bad, but I'll show you what I usually do. I don't use auto. What I do is I sort of rotate until I get the same angle on both, and then I just play around with vertical a little bit to make it straight. And then you just play with vertical and rotate. It takes a bit of trial and error, but I like it to be straight. I ain't gonna lie, I like it to be straight. And let's see here, maybe not this way, maybe this way. Yeah, it's getting there, it's getting there. Maybe a bit more rotate. Voila. Now then I went too much. And you just go back and forth until you have something that you really like. Okay, that's, I think, is good enough for me. And the fact that I shot manually and I copy and paste from one photo to the next just helps things to go much faster. This one, I think I'm just going to lower a little bit the exposure. You see, this one, I didn't enough underexpose it. So that light is a little too much to me. I think my favorite out of the series is probably going to be this one. Yeah, this one is, I think, is really nice. Or this one, which I just copied. But we can also take this one that I showed you and press Command V and hope for the best. Yeah, it needs a bit of adjustment, but remember, you just do like the black point. You only want 1%, a bit of exposure. Voila, maybe bring down a little bit more the highlights. Not so much. I don't want the round. I wanted the glow. It's not my favorite. This one, is not my favorite. This one I think I like a lot. This one is kind of cool. Yeah, this one is kind of cool. Same thing. I need to make it much brighter. And then check out my black points. Okay, that's kind of cool. But at the end of the day, I think this is one of my favorites. So next time you see some photo, do like me, get up, get your camera and take some amazing photography and check out my book and the masterclass. I promise you it's going to change your life as a photographer. Check out the video where I talk more about it. And I'll see you in another video. Mesdames et messieurs, au revoir.